Hi, Marie here from Nourish and Nurture with Marie and mariebradley.com. So this is day 4, but yesterday I was doing some sauerkraut, so building your immune system through fermented foods. And we did sauerkraut, and sauerkraut is really high in vitamin C, and it's one of the crucial vitamins that we need right now to help our immune system be strong. So when I finished up yesterday, I still had a white cabbage and some bits of red cabbage. So I grinded it or shredded it all up. So I'm just going to show you what I did just to finish up on that. So I shredded up the red cabbage, the white cabbage, and then I just looked around and said, what else can I throw in here? So I threw in some carrot and a little bit of garlic, some thyme just for the lungs, and I went out and got some nettle leaves, banged that in, and seaweed. I had some dried seaweed, so just have seaweed here. It's all different types, so I just chopped in some of that as well. And salt. So normally the ingredients are about a pound and a half of cabbage to a tablespoon of Himalayan salt or good sea salt. So I've done this, put the salt on it, let it sit for half an hour, and then just massage it. And as you massage it, it creates its own juice. So literally all you have in this is the ingredients and the salt. So I'm putting this into a clean, sterilised jar. So you put it in, squash it down. Again, I did this in the last video. So it's just, again, about not wasting things and finding ways to use it up. Oh yeah, there's nettles in this, I said that. I was looking for raw wild garlic and I couldn't find any. So that would go in here as well. That'd be a fantastic way of preserving the nutrients from foods that only appear every so often. So we've nearly got enough in that now. Push in any juices that's left over. Get as much in as you can. Don't worry if you've some left over, because that can be a magic ingredient for salads. So if you were here yesterday, you would have seen that I keep the outside leaf of the cabbage, and I keep that for a reason. So what I've done here is I've immersed the cabbage in its own juice. You can see the juice there. You want that much juice. The earlier, the fresher the cabbage, the more juice that's in it. The older, the more drier it is. So you might need to work it harder with the salt. So putting that in on top. So that's now creating a seal. All the vegetables are now immersed in their own juice, and I'm even pushing that down so that the juice comes over the cabbage leaf. And now I'm putting a ceramic egg cup on it, all sterilised. Push that down, and that creates a real push on that top leaf, and now that's really submerged into the juices. So that's the one I made yesterday evening. You can see the amount of juices that's even come into it since yesterday, and that's all itself breaking down in its own juices. So that's called sauerkraut. You can buy it in the shops, and it's a lot of the times it's processed and pasteurized. So what you want to do is get it raw if possible. This is one that is raw, and they have it in our local health food shop, the Nature Trail in Balnamore and in Mohill, and that's a raw organic one. So that's absolutely, go get that now, because the vitamins are huge in that. Otherwise, go get your cabbage, like one of those cabbages I pulled out of the garden yesterday. Yeah, it's a bit old, but it was fresh as, and it's full of nutrients. So that's finished up on the sauerkraut. Now, what I've left over here, these vegetables, are just fabulous in a salad. So just bind them into a bowl. Any leaves that you've got, any other vegetables that you've got, bind them in, because all it is a mix of shredded, like cabbage or like coleslaw, but you've just a bit of salt in it. So rather than adding mayonnaise to everything, that's just, it's kind of salty cabbage. It's nice. And that brings me on to the next thing that we're covering today. And the next thing that we're covering today is ways to get more nutrition from seeds and nuts and beans, legumes, things like that. So I'm moving into talking about sprouting. Sprouting is a way of enhancing the nutrients from legumes and seeds by soaking them and putting them into an environment where they feel it's a perfect climate to grow into a plant. And when you do that, the plant starts to grow into a plant. So it starts to sprout. So one of the things I'm a great advocate of is mung beans, and they are, and I am organised. They'll appear when I'm looking for something else. This is what they look like, mung beans. So they're hard legumes, tiny hard little legumes, and these are normally just soaked and cooked in like curries or stews, things like that. Just like a normal bean, like chickpeas would be. So when you cook them, that's fine, you have all the nutrients in them. But when you soak them, you're giving them a whole new different kind of life. When I was completely raw vegan, all the foods you had weren't cooked above 40 degrees. So everything was sprouted, so you could eat them when they were sprouted rather than cooked. So here's some mung beans that have been soaked. So you soak them in water overnight, and then the next day they've already soaked in the water. They realise the environment is perfect for them to grow, and they start loosening their jackets, this green shell. They start loosening that shell, and then you couldn't eat this now. If you took a bite, it would break your tooth. But the very next day, from one day of soaking, you can get one of these and just eat it like that. No bother. It's soft, it's a little bit crunchy, it's lovely. And as the days go on, then they start to shoot a little bit more, and the leaf starts to come off. So it's like he's taken off his little jacket, and the shoot is starting to come up into a plant. So this is perfect stage for eating them, because when it's in its seed, it's got an inhibitor on the outside which stops it growing into a plant, like all nuts and seeds. When you soak it, now it's getting rid of that inhibitor, and it's starting to activate the enzymes so it can grow into a plant. And at that stage, this stage here, it is so full of amino acids and enzymes and vital nutrients, because it needs all that to grow into the plant. And that's when we eat it. And we're getting enzymes, which you're getting very rarely in foods now, and all the amino acids. It's a very high in protein. There's a wide range of vitamins and minerals in them. They're filling. They're full of life energy. They're one of the things I never without. So imagine now I've got my bowl of salad, and I add in a handful of those in. Okay, so nice nutritious salad. So that's mung beans. Then you can do it with so many. Another one is alfalfa. It's another seed. It's a really good blood strengthener. So you just soak the seeds. These trays are brilliant. You get them in the health food shop as well. It's just a tray for sprouting. So you have different layers for your different sprouts. And with all of them, you soak them overnight. The next morning you drain off the water, you rinse them well, leave them without water but just rinsed, and within a couple of days they've sprouted and they're ready to eat. So that's mung beans. This is one, I'm jumping a bit here, but I'm just giving you some ideas. This is quinoa. And quinoa is, and this is how it comes in a bag like that, okay? And it's a grain that you can just cook and have it as a side dish like rice, or you can make it up into a kind of mix it with vegetables and make it like almost like a ricey dish with vegetables in it, but quinoa instead. You can do lots with it. But here's an idea. Again, when you get the quinoa, if you take a bite of it, it's very hard and crunchy. It's not really good to eat it at that stage. Soak it overnight, and in the next morning it's sprouted. And at this stage, these little dried bits of or sprouted quinoa are fabulous to top onto your salad. So overnight, and just rinse them and sprinkle them on the salad. They're perfect. This is broccoli shoots. Broccoli shoots are one of the most nutritious seeds that you can get and sprout. One little thing of broccoli shoots is as good as a massive head of broccoli. So really worth getting into doing all this. I'll do a more intensive video on this soon, but I just want to introduce you to it. I was messing around with these before I did this, so I tried brown rice the other night just to see does it sprout, and there is little shoots coming out on it too. So the brown rice is starting to shoot there as well. It's really cool to play around with these things. So you could do it with anything, like any lentils, kidney beans, any of the black-eyed peas, anything like that you've got dried. Has to be dried and not processed. And just soak them in water overnight and just wash them and have a bit of a play around with it and see which ones are actually sprouting and not. These are sunflower greens. So these are sunflower seeds, like these ones. We all know what sunflower seeds are because they're in everything. And sunflower seeds are really nutritious and they're lovely. So these are the ones, these are the sunflower seeds without, with the shells. So these are, if you took the shell off this, then you've got the ones you're ready to eat. So these are the ones you soak, and you soak these overnight and then pop them into soil when they start to shoot. These are soaked overnight, so I'm going to drain these off and just wait until they sprout a little bit, and then I'll put them in soil and then let these grow into shoots. This is a pea shoot. So the sunflower seeds will actually grow into something similar to this. These are pea shoots, and yeah, I don't have any of that. This is literally what they look like. A little round pea. They look a bit like a marrow fat pea. And again, you just look for pea greens. They're called pea greens, and these are called sunflower greens. So these are different than the ones you buy like this, because these have already the husks taken off them. These ones haven't. These are ready to be brought to life again, and that's what you want to do. So probably jumped a bit too much there on too many things, but yeah, sprouting is a really great way of getting nutrition into you very easily, and it really umps the nutrition. The nutrition of those mung beans is through the roof compared to if you just got the beans, soaked them and ate them in a curry. They're way more abundant, and because they're not cooked, the enzymes are alive in them. So that's mung beans. Okay, yeah. Here's some, this is what I do is when I soak them, then over the next day I strain them. So here's some broccoli seeds I've soaked. So next morning you strain them off. You can get these jars as well, they're really good. They've just got a lid that are easier to strain. Broccoli seeds are more prone to mold than mung beans or alfalfa. So they take a bit more, they need a bit more care. So that's why I use this container for the broccoli seeds. So I can pour the water in here quite regularly and rinse it off just to make sure that mold doesn't grow in it. And then it just sits like that and the water drains off. So that's one of those. So here's a trick. When I strain off the mung beans after soaking them overnight, the water that you get, I have it here. The water that you get from the mung beans and the seeds it's quite dark, but it's hugely nutritious for plants. So when you strain off your beans and things that you've soaked to sprout, this is magic food for your plants. So you can put this into all your plants around the house. What I do is I tend to put this into a jug, top it up with water and go around and give them all a little bit of nourishment. And my house is a little bit like the botanical gardens because the plants love it. It's very nutritious food for them. So we don't take this, we don't take the water from the soaked beans. We don't do that. What you're doing is you're taking away the inhibitor and all the stuff that's from the seeds, and that's going to the plant. So the water goes away and we eat the seeds. So as I say, I'll have more information on that again, but that's just a touch on it. So we can imagine your salad here. So I've no lettuce or anything, but you have to think, what have you got in the house at the minute? So there's the cabbage and stuff that wouldn't fit into the bowl when I was trying to make when I was making the sauerkraut. There's some just chopped up cabbage, and I'm going to add in some mung beans in on top of it. Some of these pea shoots. Then I'm going to add in some of the sprouted quinoa, and on top of it and there's your salad. That's so simple, and that's so nutritious when you think you've nothing in the house. So if you think that your fridge is empty of fresh fruit and vegetables, and that you are thinking you've nothing, go into your cupboards, take out the pulses and the seeds, and soak them in water overnight, and you'll activate the enzymes in them. Same with nuts as well, almonds and things like that. Soak them overnight, throw away the water, and you've activated the enzymes in them, so you're getting more nutrition in those as well. So that's a tip for today. Yeah, I hope that's clear enough. I might do some more on this again, but go and have a look at and see what's in your cupboard in the lines of these things that you could soak. Also, I want you to go through your cupboards and see what nuts, seeds, dried fruit, coconut, tins of prunes or dates or anything like you have, anything like that. Have a little inventory of your cupboards now, because I'm going to show you how to make treats out of whatever you have in your cupboard. So go and have a look, and I'm going to be back with making some healthy treats. Okay.